Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the live. I'm so happy to have you here. If you are tuning in live right now, let me know. And let me know if you can hear me and see me okay by just putting a big yes into the comments. I see a couple folks who are so excited for this already. Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Just give me a yes in the chat. My name is Sunny. If we've never officially met before, welcome, welcome, welcome. We love to do these. We do these regularly, and it is a feature on one of our incredible clients and their success story and their transformation that they've experienced inside of our program. So I am the founder of a program called the Authority Accelerator. Thank you for confirming. I see collaborate with health, empower your true essence, mindfulness voyage. Hello, thank you, thank you. So I created a program called the Authority Accelerator, and what that program does is it helps folks take their expertise, their skill set, package it into a highly scalable online program. So we have made millionaires with this program, and more importantly, we've made a massive impact through the folks that we've served and the people that they're able to reach with their online program. So happy to see all of you here. I know more and more folks are going to keep rolling in. If you can do me a big favor right now, wherever you're tuning in from, can you give this a like, and could you just share it out? Be sure to share it with anybody that you think would benefit from tuning in today. So before we bring on our very special guest, who really needs no introduction, but I'm going to give him one anyways, I'm talking to Mike Bosch today, and Mike has been a client of ours over the last year, and he is a 2-time best-selling author and a winner of Tulsa's Restaurateur of the Year. He's also the owner of Andolini Worldwide, which is the parent company for Andolini's Pizzeria. I haven't had the pleasure of trying it, but I do plan on trying it one day, which has been named one of the top 10 pizzerias in America. Maybe there's folks here who have been to the restaurant. I actually know there was someone saying that they actually worked for Mike back in the day at one of his restaurants. So very thrilled to have him here. A little bit of background on Mike's story. So yes, he has 12 successful restaurants. Yes, he's met the president, but he wanted to create a coaching program for restaurateurs, but he had zero background in sales or marketing. Before he started with our program, he had actually created a coaching program for $99 a month, but no one was buying it. No one was investing, despite his wealth of expertise and knowledge. And he had paid startup firms, marketing consultants, brand building companies. He'd done it all, but no one was giving him a straight path. And so he found us, found our program, became a client, and in less than a year, his results are pretty incredible. So since his first launch, which in his first launch using our methodology, he made $97,000, just under $100,000 with that first launch of his program. And since then, it's gone on to do multiple 6 figures this year. And he has 85 active clients in his program, 85 active restaurateurs in his program from all over the world. And the work that he's doing is truly, truly incredible. So happy to have you all joining us here. Like I said, give this a like, be sure to share it out. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring on the one and only Mike Bosch. Welcome. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you for that introduction, Sunny. I very much appreciate it.
Well, it's all true. And I'm so happy to have you here. And I'm so happy to dig into the conversation with you. So I want to kind of start all the way back at the beginning, because I want to know more about your journey as an entrepreneur.
For sure. You know, I thought I was going to be a JAG lawyer in the Marine Corps, and now I make pizza in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So if you want to tell God a joke, tell him your plans. I went to the Marine Corps' officer candidate school during college, found out while I completed the training that I had juvenile type 1 diabetes. I still was going to go to law school, like JAG, the show. That's a real thing where you go and become a lawyer inside the Marine Corps. And then I was like, I don't like law school. I went to it for 90 minutes and said, this probably isn't for me. And after doing all the work to get there, my brother was getting transferred here to Tulsa. I lived in New York. I lived in California. I'd never been to the Midwest. And I drove out here and I said, yep, there's a lot of opportunity. And I opened a restaurant, which I would not advise with very little restaurant experience, working 2 restaurants to pay for college, that qualifies someone to own a restaurant. And I learned through just the grit of, I will not drive halfway across America to fail at this. And 6 years of real, like, hardcore failure at eating it. And then I started to develop and I'm still developing. And then I started to, like, take every win and say, okay, what worked about that? What didn't? Have no ego about it. Move forward. Ask for help. was a big thing. Never be like, man, I got it figured out. I think anytime I've seen someone do that, it's a death nail to their business and just their whole ability to grow in general. And so as an entrepreneur, I think it took very naturally to it while never knowing I was being one. I was just like, figure it out mentality I've had in spades. The ability to, put myself second and work was something I don't do now, but really drove the beginning of the first 10 to 15 years. And it's something I now am showing other restaurant owners that they don't have to do this. And now I could be here with you in the middle of the afternoon, do cool stuff around Tulsa, go in, throw dough, be happy and fun with my staff. But it's not like this, oh man, I got to go make dough tomorrow morning because no one else will, which for many, many years was what it was.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and the way that you're supporting people who own restaurants and run restaurants and to get to a place where they're not constantly having to be there all the time is really incredible. So I want you to tell me a little bit more about your program and the program you created inside of AA.
Well, I learned how to formulate what the program is on paper through AA, which I say that I take owned owners and make them owners. I activate their ownership. Independent restaurant owners who are dedicated to their community, to their staff. I give them the tools and the pathway to have this be theirs through many things. And I've spent a lot of money on consultants myself, mostly business consultants. And I saw that the stuff they were teaching wasn't really available to independent restaurant owners. It also wasn't written for them. So I boiled a lot of that stuff down, a lot of my proprietary stuff that I put in my book, a lot of unique things, and then just mindset stuff. I go into vision planning, the metrics, which a lot of restaurant consultants start and stop with, like, here's how you do food costs, here's how you do labor. That's very necessary, but it's certainly not the whole thing. Marketing, as a restaurant owner, I do it all myself. It takes me about an hour and a half every 2 weeks. I show you all my workflows, then all my onboarding, how I get people to want to work for us. We have very low attrition. We don't need staff right now, which is very unique. How to negotiate with vendors in a way where they want us to win with them. And then, of course, systemizing it all along with community building and me as a resource with Q&A.
I love it. And so obviously there's quite the process when you get into our program to really drill down and go, okay, this is what I want to create. And it's not just going to be this information-based course where it's kind of service level. We want to go deep. So how does your program align with your own story and your own journey? You kind of gave us a hint of that when you were telling us about your background, but how does your program align with your own story, and why was it so important for you to create this?
The importance of it was I felt this beyond money, beyond anything need, that this is incredibly difficult, what I've been through, and I got through it. And I sought to maximize my staff and my community, but that's just Tulsa. And I've always had this real pull, like, what could I do to help someone else in Sheboygan or halfway across the world in India? So I wrote a book, but you don't really see the effects of the book, and the book is a lot of information. So I really have had it in my core, like, if I could give this to someone, I could potentially save lives. And I don't say that half-heartedly. It's really like people put their whole life on the line for a dream, and for not a lack of effort, not a lack of integrity or character, it just doesn't work, and it doesn't need to fail. And I like to think of it like this, that there's a boulder in front of all these restaurateurs, a massive boulder. They're trying to break it up with their fists as they piece together a hammer and chisel to hopefully break it up. I've created a jackhammer. Here it is. It's still your boulder to break, but I'm going to hand it to you for you to break it. And for all these people, if I have this jackhammer and I held back, what a jerk I am if I'm not putting it out there into the world when I have it right here.
I love that. I think that's so important for everybody here to hear that. And I'm curious, when you listen to Mike's journey and Mike's story, what comes up for you in terms of what you want to put out into the world? Because everybody here has something that they are ready and willing to share. But what's your calling? What's the thing that you want to help people with? So if you want to put that into the comment section, feel free. And we're going to get into some very strategic tactics here in a moment. Number one, why a personal brand doesn't equal sales or success, because you might be hearing, well, he's a best-selling author, he's got 12 restaurants, of course he's going to be successful with this course. You're going to want to listen to this. No, the hidden skill that transformed both of his businesses and the process of detaching his time from his income. As we all know, the restaurant industry is so demanding. So how has he gotten to a place where he's able to be here with me today, spend time with his family? They just went to Disneyland recently. And so we want to talk about all of that because yes, we're here to help you build an online education business, but more importantly, we're here to help you build a life that you can enjoy, that your business can ultimately be the fuel and the vehicle for. So before I get into that, I did just want to mention we're doing something a little different today, which is actually really, really exciting. So Steve from my team is here. And if you are interested in creating your own online program, but you're like, I don't know if I can, I don't know if this is the right thing for me, we're doing free consults. No sales, no nothing, literally just here to listen to you. So you can go to sunnylenardeasy.com/learn more to speak with Steve from my team. And he's going to do a free consult with you just to listen to what your course idea is and how you can make it happen. So if that's of interest to you, you can go to that link right there. And I'll also drop it right here in the chat. But as I'm doing that, I did just want to ask the first question here because I think we can dig into the nitty gritty. So let's talk about the idea of personal branding and why that wasn't a factor in creating a successful online coaching business for you or online course business for you. Tell us a little bit about that journey.
Well, when it comes to a brand, like the brand of me, it's getting your name out there and be like, yeah, I like that guy. Okay, well, buy this thing. Like, all right, well, what is it? It's me. $99? Like, what are you going to do? Well, I'm like here. And I was like, but I do this and I do this and I do this and I do this. And you're like, okay, well, thanks. And it was really overwhelmingly trying to say, I'm so interesting by it. And it's only when I was like, well, what problems are you running into? What are you dealing with? Okay, yeah, this does address it in this fashion. Oh, well, in that case, cool. Like that was a massive frame shift. But beyond that, $99, it wasn't believable, I think, that I was going to do it. And I wanted to like R&D the problems, but I figured $99, everyone can afford that. I'm going to be the Netflix of restaurants. Everyone's going to like drop their cash to have this super affordable consultant. There is the caveat that when it's like a too low of a price, people are like, no way, it's legit. It's like the gym that's like $10 a month that's empty versus the Globo gym that's like pretty packed and people respect it more because it's Globo gym. Mm-hmm. It's a psychological shift. And it's not just the same thing though. You have to bring more and give more and have more, but it sets the tone to be able to give more when you lean in on that side and also have a frame set of abundance as opposed to please buy this, please, which is after a while, you're like, hey, I'm going to do this and this and this and this. And they're like, cool, bro.
It's like a power dynamic shift. And what I find so interesting about this is like, I have to ask you, because you had the history of having all these successful restaurants, being one of the top 10 pizzerias in America, having the clout that you have, having the brand that you have, was there a part of you when you launched that $99 course that you were like, this is going to go like gangbusters? Like, did you have that sense? Did you have that feeling?
Yeah. Well, I mean, also when you open a restaurant, you're like, you want to get over in the mind's eye and eventually you do. And once you're over, you think you kind of live like you're going to be over in perpetuity. So you open and you're like, there's going to be a line out the door for this. They're all going to want to try it. And then they're going to see how great it is. And I'm going to have converts. I didn't lose anyone at the $99 thing, but I figured the second I turned this on, the world's just going to shift. And I put it out there. And in fairness, I had 30 people, but at that price point, it's just not enough to move the needle or to be interesting or for you to build a something you're going to run off of. I then just started using for R&D. And then I was like, I got to build a course out of this, but I don't know how to do that. And then starting from nothing, my mind was like, do I just talk on camera for a bunch and that's it? Like, what is it? And then
strategy.
Yeah. What is it? Like, what do I do? I've seen courses, I bought certain things, but I didn't know really how to organize it. And then my brain went way, way, way into the wrong direction of I need to get the tech right. The tech is everything. The tech is the answer. That's where it's at. And I couldn't have been more, I've never been more wrong about something than that.
Okay, let's talk about that. So I know that that's something that you've mentioned and I'm sure there are people here right now that are like, oh, well, I need to have a funnel and I need to have all the tech set up and I need to do this and this and this and have the right platform. talk me through that thought process and why you thought that was what you needed and when you learned that it wasn't.
I believed I didn't know how to build a funnel. I would build websites for my restaurants, which is very much like, here's the order online. I know so much about that world, but then it's different tech stacks. It's not, Toast, it's ClickFunnels and all these other things. But you're thinking that's the answer. That's the magic words there are going to move the needle. And it's really human connection that moves the needle. It's not tech. You want it to be tech because you could be just completely disassociated, which in time you get to, but it's not tech. And I've always leaned on tech and like tech's the answer and it's going to streamline it. It's going to do all the work. And it just could not have been more not that. It was really leaning into the humanity of, I had that in the course of whatever I was going to do. But the double dip of this, when I started with you, I was like, all right, no ego. Let's go for the ride. And the first thing was like, hey, you got to interview 50 people. And I was like, I don't want to talk to 50 people. I don't want to do that. Like, hey, come see my. And then I was like, I saw the script, like, but you're going to say this and then change it in your words. I'm like, okay, I can do that. And then I started doing that. People like, yeah, I'd love to talk to you. I'm like, all right, cool. I have a nice conversation. No, that wasn't so bad. Let's do another one. And then what I thought the course should be, I was about 80% right, but not 100% right. So now I'm saying, oh, a lot of people are interested in that and that and that. And then I'm like, okay, there for sure are some similarities across these people. And now I know exactly what this group wants, that it's validated, that they want it. And now I just need to design it and go back to them and say, hey, that thing that you wished existed, I have it. Do you want it? And that's a lot easier way to sell something than, please buy my thing. It's pretty and shiny and it's new and I did it and I'm special. Like,
it's also just like, it's like, I'm just curious. So when you think about like all the tech stuff and doing that research in terms of like which platform you use, which funnel you use, how much time do you think you wasted doing that?
It's a lot. It became like a hobby. But it would be like every night, like, well, and I'm asking ChatGPT, what are the benefits of this CRM versus this CRM, but this funnel with this to this? Is this what it does with this? And I'm like, no, I'm thinking this, and then I'm just going over and over and over and over and over there with that. I would be honest to say I was pretty annoyed when you're like, don't do any of that. I was like, no, but this matters. Like, no, it's not, doesn't at all. Like, but are you sure? I'm sure it matters. Like, no.
But I've done so much work.
I've done a lot of work. You're like, no, it doesn't matter. You're like, look at my website. I'm really successful and I'm running off the Thinkific page. And
yes,
what are you doing? I'm like,
oh, that's really funny. Okay. So there's so many lessons in all of this, but at the end of the day, okay, so pop quiz for everyone watching right now. What makes a business? Obviously, you have to have clients or customers, whether it's a restaurant business or an online program, you have to have clients. So I always think about it visually. I'm like, okay, how can I reduce the friction as much as possible from getting a stranger to turn into a client inside of our program? And ultimately what that comes down to is having conversations. We've gotten into a headspace in business where we're like, well, we need to have the prettiest website. We need to have the best funnel. But the reality is, you don't even know what to put into a funnel. You don't know what kind of copy to write. You don't know what kind of visuals to use until you actually listen to people. So that really has to be step number one. And I think it's really something we need to note right now that your first launch of this program, just using this process of actually listening to people, creating the thing that they need, giving it to them, generated $97,000 in that first launch.
Yep.
I think was over a matter of a month. I think that was like a 30-day window.
Yep. I also was like, okay, I got to build this thing. And I was like halfway there and I was building each week for the next week and selling it and just hitting up those original 50 people.
Yeah.
And then, around 10 of them weren't at all ideal. And of the 40, 35 took the call. And then of those, like 30, something like 32 said yes.
Which is crazy.
Yeah,
that just shows the value of like listening and reciprocity though. So at the very simple end of things, like all you need to do is just really listen to people who need your help and really listen to what they're looking for, what are their needs, what are their desires, what are their fears, what's keeping them up at night. And then you create a program that solves their problems. And then ultimately they're going to go, well, yeah, of course, that's what I need. And so you had that first launch and all you used was Zoom, Stripe, and Instagram, which is pretty incredible. And you didn't have a big Instagram following at that point either.
No, I had 1,800, and I would say of that 1,800, less than 1,000 were restaurant. Like the rest of the people are like high school friends and stuff.
Right.
So, 1,800. And because also, here's the side note of this. I've been building up Andolini's brand for 20 years. I've never building up my own brand. I wrote a book. I am pizza famous-ish at Pizza Expo because I'll do speeches there, but I never had like a thing to give them. That was another big part of it. It's like every single time I'd finish a speech, I'd have this like group around me. Like, how do I do more with this? I'm like, do this and this, but I had nothing else to give them.
Yeah.
And I even when I read your book, but how do I use the book for this? And I was like, and then, hey, can you fly out? I was like, no, I did all this so I don't have to fly out. Like, it just kept being this. I know I'm missing something here.
Yeah.
The tech really wasn't there for this 10 years ago. So it was just all things coming together in that sense.
Yeah.
But also for Andolini's, I had built it, the rule with restaurant is like, make it the most clean, professional thing possible. Have it super tight, super pristine, and the experience will then carry the weight and you can build off. Those tenets didn't really apply in the course world nearly as much. So my base operating system was saying that. I have a big marketing background, but I've never done sales. Like I know how to make something appealing and know how to voice it and have it be interesting and kooky and nuanced. But I've never been like, what's your problem that you need help with? And being able to just shut up and listen. Not my best thing.
Well, let's talk about that next. So, and actually, I'm curious for anyone here, if you are thinking about creating a course, because I have to assume that most of you are here watching because you're like, well, I kind of want to do this. And I totally get that listening to these stories sometimes you're like, how is that possible? But just remember that Mike was in your shoes not that long ago. This has been less than a year that he's been able to build this program that's done, very well, multiple six figures in less than a year with a very bare bones beginning. So if you're here watching this and you're interested in creating a course, I just want you to put course inside of the chat, just comment course, because I'm just curious. So for you, let's talk about the listening factor. So I mentioned before, the second thing I wanted to dig into was the hidden skill that transformed your business. And yes, the online course business, but it's also played a part in the restaurant business. So let's just talk about what that skill is.
And it's listening. It's empathetic. I'm a very empathetic person. I believe I have a big heart to this industry, but maybe nerves or maybe just thinking I want to work harder. I always was trying to explain what people could or should do. And even in my restaurants now, with my staff, with my friends, everyone, I learned just like asking questions gets so much further than giving answers. And that, especially on a call with a restaurant, are like, all right, what's going right? What's going wrong? Well, all right, tell me more about that. Why do you think that is? Okay. And now what is it that you're looking for? And this isn't a con. It's not a sales tactic per se. It's just being interested in them shows that I am invested, because I am. It's a better way to be emotionally intelligent, regardless of sale or not. And then people are like, oh, they're actually listening. It's not just hey, buy my stupid thing. It's I care, because I do care. And it's a better way of showing that you care verbally, even over Zoom. And then whether it's me or someone else representing me, that's the whole thing is, where are you at? Okay. So you detailed all those problems. Here's the cost of not having your life the way you want it. Here's what the answer is. Is that for you? Yes or no? And go from there. And there's a beauty in the simplicity of that when you're not selling at all, which I'm sure everyone on this thing has I've heard not selling, blah, 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 but it really is. It's asking and listening, which there's no AI bot. There's no, we're going to there's so much crap out there in the course. Well, first off, to everyone listening, a quick break. Here's why I really loved and why I was immediately down with Sunny. I was because I've seen all the stuff. You're probably well, I've looked at this thing, looked at this thing. I got into this. It was hey, dummy, don't do any of that. Do this. Her demeanor is kind and cool, but when you're in it, it's stop any of that. Not this. And I was thank you. Just this this wave of like, oh, thank God, just stop giving me options. Just tell me what the hell to do.
Yes. Well, I think that's the thing, right? So what's really interesting about this conversation is like, I love talking to our clients. I love talking to people in general because I just will never not be fascinated by this entire world. And the thing is, you are such an expert at what you do. And so it is hard when you're an expert at what you do, you're used to just telling people and sharing your expertise. You're not necessarily in a stage where you're used to just sitting back and kind of listening. And so it is a bit of a paradigm shift, but that is where the real gold is. Because if you take the time to listen to what people need, then you know what to deliver to them. And ultimately that leads to such a better product. But it makes sense why it's a little bit challenging in the beginning. Mindfulness Voyage and Shannon Burnett, I encourage you. We started about 20 minutes ago for Done For You online courses. I just mentioned that. But Mindfulness Voyage and Shannon Burnett and anyone else who is interested in creating an online course, I do urge you to go to sendinglearnereasy.com/learn more. It is not a sales call. You are literally signing up to have a completely free course consultation. There is like no downside to this. And we really do just want to listen to you. So please go ahead and click that link and I'll drop it again into the chat. So the interesting thing here is that you took the time, you actually spoke to these people. And what I find fascinating is of those 50 interviews that you did, I think you said 32 of those people became your first clients in your program. So that didn't require you to do a bunch of marketing, to have a fancy funnel, to do all of these things. I want to ask you, was there a moment when you were in one of those conversations where you went, oh, like I knew I was going to create a program that was important, but now I really know this is important? Did you talk to anyone that it just really hit you that this is the work that you need to be doing?
Yeah, it's like there's a lot more crying than I was expecting, and then I was like, oh, this is good crying, and now it's kind of like part of it. It's like, and I know I've been in that position where it's a brutal industry, Sonny. It's brutal.
Yeah,
and there's this feeling of hopelessness and that permeates it, and I'm like, I've been on calls where guys are like, I just don't know if I have it in me anymore to do this. I don't know. I've been doing this a long time, man. And I'm like, and the beauty, here's the rub of why I then my mission went like from this is fun to like, oh, you need to do this, is I'm an active owner. I actively own restaurants. And there's nothing against anyone else who's in the space of consulting, but I don't know anyone else who's an active owner who's saying, hey, I just changed my Instagram thing for this promotion. It worked really well. I had a kid who was crying to me about a situation. This is how we handled it. And here's how you can too. Like, here's how we figured out tax law, whatever. There's so many nuanced things that come from just being in it that I can help people with that's not out there in the space. So I'm not saying like, oh, I've seen a lot of situations like yours. I'm saying, no, I did that and I've been there. And here's what I'm doing now to get past it. And there's a level of trust and a level of believability and then a massive amount of hope that's not false hope. It's hope that can be realized. And I've seen, because I'm in a business with my brother and I had a team that was like a brother team. And I was like, hey, let's get you both on a call. Like, what are you guys dealing with? And getting them to like decompress their issues. And that was part one of the course is just vision planning. And that's something that's not really out there as much as how to get owners on the same page. And it's not an Excel spreadsheet that's going to do that. It's here we have to have a real conversation about expectations and all that, and the stuff I've learned from all the things I've done over the years and personal experience, and that moves the needle. So that's why I'm caring about it so much.
Well, and I think that's so important to talk about because I think there is a lot of noise out there about, just create a course and start selling it and pack it with all the information you have. We call this like the curse of the expert, which is so much. So you can just jam all that information to an online course and it should work, right? It never works because there is something to be said for the high level of empathy that comes from so much experience. And that level of empathy is what leads to actual transformation and not just giving people a bunch of information. And kind of what you just said about me, which I've never really heard before, but like I've heard it in other ways, is you said, when I came in, I just stopped giving me options. I just want to get the like clear, direct path. And it's so easy for me to do that and for our team to do that because we've been doing this for so long. We have our own online course business. We're active doing that every day. And we're supporting people to build theirs every single day. So we've been through every single mistake you can imagine. So it's way faster for us to be like, do this, don't do that, do this, don't do that. And the same thing applies to you. And when you're building an online course, and something that we harp on inside of our program is that ideal client journey. You're not just giving people information. You are taking them the minute that they come into your program, you are taking them on a journey from where they are right now to ultimately where they want to be. And I wanted to ask you something about that. Thus far, you've had 85 clients from all over the world in the less than a year, which is really incredible. What has been the result or the transformation that's happened for you thus far where you're like, whoa, I couldn't even imagine. Like, this is the best thing ever.
For me or for them?
For them. So any of your client results.
So, I mean, I graduate. So my program, they can graduate. And so in the culmination call, they're not done. They can still be, but we go over and like seeing the clarity is a big thing. But I held the graduation ceremony in Vegas in person at Pizza Expo. And I had, I can probably say her name, Kelly Potter, just like crying and saying, this is it. We were looking for this and we had it. And I had, a guy who was just open. I know he bypassed 10 years of crap and he's just killing it. And they all wanted to do testimonials live. So if you go to my website, you'll see my testimonials are like in person because they were all there. Like, let's do this. Like they were filming on site and high-end cameras. I had a very awesome restaurant owner named Christina, who when I went to visit her in Vegas last year, so that 2023 Expo, she was behind her kitchen alone because she couldn't afford staff. And by the time the course was done, she was like, I have a full kitchen being run. I have catering numbers that are in the teens, but I never did catering before. And I'm on a flight to Mexico right now with my husband, and I could turn my phone off for the next 4 days. And like when you met me 9 months ago, I was in my kitchen and I couldn't afford staff. So thank you. I'm about to go to Mexico. I was like, well, there you go.
There you go. That's incredible. I mean, that's the impact. That's the ripple effect that we're hoping to create when we help people in our program, is like, we want you to then have an effect on the people you serve. And you're doing that 10 times over. There's a ton of new people joining us right now. So hello. Welcome. Be sure to give this a like if you're enjoying it. Be sure to share it out if you're enjoying it. And I know there's a few people here who are like, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm interested in. If that's you, just comment with the word course, because I'm curious to see who here wants to really take the action to build an online program and how we can best support you on that. So let's talk about the sort of final piece of this, which I know is the thing that every person who wants to create an online course business is craving. How you detached your time from your income and what that looks like and what your life looks like now that you have this online program and what that's done for you.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to be said about that, and also looking at it from that abundant mindset. And in a restaurant, classically, it's linear, more work, more. And this is not a linear play. It can be exponential, which most restaurant things are not exponential. You get to a certain limit, then you have to open another restaurant. So it's a different business model. It's also, in all fairness, stupidly easier than what I've ever done. Like comparatively, I'm like, oh my God, I'm such a dumbass for working my ass like the last 20 years in the restaurant business. It brings me a lot of joy, but my bar of work is so elongated. Mm-hmm. And it was already elongated because I couldn't have done that if I hadn't done OCS with type 1 juvenile diabetes. I was 134 pounds looking like a skeleton going through that. So then I was like, sleep deprivation and opening a restaurant, easy. So I was like, 20 years of this, doing a course business, it's been relatively easy for me.
Right.
But I don't want to say to people who are looking at this, are you a doer or are you a don'ter? And if you are in this life to do something with it, then you owe it to yourself to go all in on something. The beauty of it is the beauty of this course and what you do. Again, I've said this, I'm your official hype man. Like,
I love you for it.
I'm such an easy hype, but I don't hype up anyone in general. Like it's for you, because I just don't like wasting my time. So much do I not like wasting my time. I want to be at the front of the line as fast as possible, or I'll pay to not wait in line. Like I just don't like lines. And in your process, it's like, don't do that, do this. Even once you get done with the launch, because your course doesn't stop there. It's now here's the next, because all we've detailed right now is the launch, which was just like part 1 of 5. And then it's now you can take it here. Now you can take it here. Now you can take it here. And then
now it can be evergreen.
Yeah. So it's there's other components to scale it and to set it up for success that if I hadn't done what I would have been like, all right, then now I got that. Now I need to make a sub program for these people. I didn't do that because of you. Now that I have that, I have to create this thing and do a podcast. I didn't do that because of you. Like I just knew what was necessary and what wasn't necessary, which is a more valuable lesson. Knowing what's not necessary, even potentially negative towards the end result goal. And hey, dummy, like again, that's what I have to like. Your voice says that you don't actually call me a dummy, but it's what I hear is like. But it's like, stop complicating this. It's just that easy. I'm like, all right, fine. And in my base nature, you have to like accept maybe it can be kind of easy. Mm-hmm. Maybe it could be. Yeah. And that's not what most people's norm is.
Well, and I think it's the matter of like looking at it instead of like, it's work. Creating any business is work. You have to be aware of that. But there's a difference between easy and simple. And I think what we really focus on is like simplification. And so because your way was fine, but because I've been through this for so long and I've done this for so long and I've helped so many people to date, simple is the key to success. And it goes against everything we believe about becoming successful. We believe we have to work harder, grind ourselves into the ground, hustle until we burn out. But because I've been there and done that, I wound up in the hospital when I was 29 years old with all the symptoms of a stroke. I did that. And that was because I was looking at success from the lens of, let me just work myself into the ground. And that's when I created this entire program. It's to help people like you get to a place where they can actually serve folks all over the world, make these massive impacts on them, but not have to trade their time for money and not have to constantly be involved in their business. It's still work. It's still a business. There's still going to be work involved. But if you love what you do, that's okay. You want to be there sometimes, but you don't have to be there all the time. And it's the freedom of choice that you're ultimately trying to achieve. So one thing that I just wanted to mention is Mikey asked a question. I'm just going to put it on the screen. What if you already have a course and want to scale or take the next step and offer coaching? We support people. We've had lots of people come in who have quote unquote successful programs, and we help them make them more successful and scale them further and faster and easier. So we absolutely can help you. So I would highly encourage you to sign up for that free course consult at sendingletterec.com/learn more. And if you have any other questions, feel free to drop them into the chat. I want to get a better idea for you. Like, paint a picture of when you were just running the restaurant business and you were kind of in it day to day. Like, what did your hours look like? And then what does life look like now that you have the online program?
I mean, it's been so many different eras. I am T Swift, but the first 4 were like, the first year was every day up at 5, coming home 11:30. There were times where I was like, it's just easier. I'm going to sleep on the ground. To be frank, that was like the first 2 years. Then I got with the best pizza makers in the world, Tony Gimignani, namely, and I became close with him. And then he asked me to be on his competitive pizza team. And then I learned steel sharpening steel. Like, that was another example in my life of just being around the best and learning from the best. And then I learned how to change all my recipes and my workflows and everything. And then I started competing internationally, and we got a lot of press, a lot of credentials. And then opening up our second store was successful day 1, but it was still like me trying to train both stores, me trying to run both stores. At 3 stores, I was like, okay, this is getting harder. And the world started to fall in on itself. And at 4 stores, it pretty much did. And then I was like, okay, each system that's worked, I'm leaning on it, and I'm going to create more of those and keep creating more. And then here's another really weird dynamic that happens in the restaurant industry. And I bet you it happens in other industries as well, where you have this, like, you think it's the pride of, I'm still on the beat. I'm still keeping it street. And it's, I have guys that will come to me like, I still make the dough every day. I got it, because I take that level of pride. I'm like, do you like doing that? We're like, well, I used to, but it's kind of getting hard on me. I'm like, you're a 55-year-old mom making their 30-year-old son's bed and trying to take pride in it. You don't need to do that. They're like, well, these kids can't do anything. And my line is, well, we trusted like 17 and 18-year-olds to win World War II. Maybe they could case sausage, just saying. And they're like, okay, you're right. So leaning in on trusting people and then managing the system and not the person. And when we started to do that, we're like, okay, great. Your numbers are good. You did this. Your review score is here. I went into the store, shook hands, kissed babies. Everyone's doing great. You're doing it. Cool. Or you're not. Let's go back to basics. What are in the KPI structure of this training program? What have you done? What are you not doing? And now we can manage it from there and build off that and create success. And just being able to be like, okay, take a breath.
Yeah.
Let it exist. So the last 4 or 5 years, especially, once we had our son Henry, you're like, I want to watch him grow up. Yeah. And I don't want to, when I wrote the book, it's people are saying, hey, fly to my town. I'm like, I did all this, so I didn't do that. So how can I make this impact? And again, that's what the course allows for. So it doesn't take up a lot of my time. It's something I do almost like a hobby. Truly, it's a real thing. But for me, like, it's not, it's, I recorded it, did the content. I love writing. I'm excited about it. And then it's just letting it do its thing. And then the restaurants of being present at them has not suffered because I'm still there. I'm still present there. It's actually maybe better at both.
Say more about that. How?
Well, the listening part of it, I didn't have that in me. And then also it's a really weird thing. When you define what success is and what the processes should be, it makes you go back and like, good, are we fully living that? And like, it's a reminder to yourself. And then you're like, oh, I formulated. You take what's on here and then formulate it. It's easier to train staff because I'm training the outward world. Now I can train staff on it. It's not up here. I've documented it. So it's much easier to rattle it off because it's something that's in, gravity existed before Sir Isaac Newton defined it. Apples weren't flying away. But once you define it, people are like, okay, that's the law of gravity. There's something to be said about doing that inside your restaurant or your business as well. Define the metrics, the KPIs, and the processes to that degree that you could teach it to a random.
Totally. And I think that brings me to, like, we always talk about building a legacy business, and a legacy business is ultimately a business that can run and exist and make an income and an impact without your constant involvement. And if, God forbid, you were to die tomorrow, the business could still run. And so not only have you done that with your restaurant business, you're now doing that with the online program as well. And you're really putting your legacy out into the world, and you're helping these restaurant owners all over the world be able to have that balance in their life and not constantly be involved and systematize their business, which is so important. I guess my question for you, one of my last questions for you, and if you have any other questions in the comments, feel free to ask them. What do you feel like made the biggest difference for you with being in the Authority Accelerator versus trying to kind of figure this all out on your own?
I mean, there's many. The first and foremost was just giving myself up to it, which I don't have a problem, but the beauty of it was like when I did, I was like, I don't know, let's see if it works. And then I was like, oh crap, it did. Okay, let's try it again. I was like, that's not going to work. Oh, all right, let's try it. And then, I sent this DM on Instagram. I was like, they responded to that. Cool, let's do this then. And it's like, talk to people about this with a bunch of questions up front. Like, a bunch of questions? Don't just tell them what to do? All right, I'll try it. I was like, oh crap. So then it just became like epiphany after epiphany after epiphany. And then I was like, all right, this person I had not met at all, I was like the biggest fan of. And the first time I did get on a call with you, I was like, Sonny, can I just stop? It's like, you did this, you did this, you did this. And I was like, and just like I was meeting a beetle. So it was and that's, it was just because there's so many things that are abundance of options, and they're not focused and they're not tailored to the experience. And I'm excited for other people with courses. I'm excited for the world to go beyond like math, science, and what you learn in school. And assuming that's it, that if you just have a passion for selling comic books, you can now teach someone halfway across the world how to do it in your way and be passionate about it beyond what a YouTube channel provides, which is just, hey, okay, I saw your thing and then I moved on. But you could actually like really be in it with them. Whatever thing you got, it's now possible. It's really this whole other world of possibility for all these nuanced things to be taught. And if you're gonna do it, doing it the best, most effective way possible, that's gonna have the biggest impact possible, I think is really, really important. And I have no equivocation that is what this program is.
Thank you. That's really nice to hear. That's so nice to hear. My last question for you is this. Actually, I have two questions. First question is, I want you to kind of think through, we've talked about this a little bit, but like if you picture your life prior to being a part of the Authority Accelerator and you picture your life today, or you think about your life today, what would you say are the most sort of diametric differences, not just in business, but in how you show up and how you operate?
I mean, I wasn't doing bad, but the biggest thing is this level of on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, self-actualization is an exploding on a career level. It's an explosion, and I know. And we also talked about Ikagi a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
that level, having Ikagi and knowing, I know guys that are making a ton of money. They have what they do is not proprietary. What they do does not help the world, but it's profitable. And they're somewhat empty on these other two quadrants of their life. So I took those quadrants and I upped them, and that feels great. That knowledge that this is helping, and there's no amount of money that can give you that level of high that it's like, again, that assumes you're a good person, I guess. That assumes
I assume most people here are good people.
That you give a crap. You're like, I'm going to sell it to these people and they're going to buy it. Like there's if you have this like, man, it would be really cool if they knew how to do that, because then that could make their life easier. And it would be so awesome to see them doing that, or whatever that their ideal client, ideal impact is. To see it, how many people really get to see their ideal impact in this life? It's a very small, and even the 1%ers of the world, I would say of those 1%, less than 1% get that.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing. Like it's hard to attain that or understand that until you're at a place where like you've done the thing, you've made the money, whatever. The purpose is what continues to drive you to do what you do. Like it's what's going to continue to fuel you and get you up out of bed every morning. And so every person, that's what the cool thing about a business like this is, ultimately you are helping people all day long. Like you are serving people, you're transforming people. That's why it's a business that continues to light you up, because every day you get to wake up and you get to serve the people who need you the most. And that's a really exciting, beautiful way to live your life. And it makes everything else sort of fall into place. Last question is this. There are absolutely people here right now watching this right now, and they are thinking to themselves, well, I've watched so many of these case studies. I know what Sunny and her team do. I've heard about the Authority Accelerator. I'm still on the fence. I still don't know if this is the thing I should do. What would you say to them?
I would be more blunt and being like, okay, whatever you're thinking right now, you're right. If you think you can't do it, you're right. You can't. And if you think you could do it, lean in on that, because guess what? You can. And then really lean in and be like, oh yeah, I can. And it's going to require some grit, but why else am I on this world? Like, do you have enough points and W's in your column yet? Have you put enough cookies in your cookie jar? And then to that caveat, because I don't think there's that many people who think that they can't. I think there's probably more people who think, why me? Or I'm not. But there's others who are better. And that's a self-limiting, it's a BS line. It's a script that's like imposed on so many people. You're not unique. If you have that voice, you're extremely not unique. That everyone has that voice. And it serves no one, certainly not you. And it's not letting you do what you could be doing. And you're going to have two people out of the hundreds that you're going to help that are going to be like, oh, you think you're cool now because you did that? If you're going to let those two determine and stop all the things you could be doing, you're a jerk. You're a douchebag, because you're going to deny all these people your talents over these two jagoffs. Like that's you. So if you're like, no, but I don't know if I'm good enough, screw that guy. That ain't you. Get up, stand up, get it. Or if you're like, I just don't think I could do it, then you're absolutely right. You can't.
It's true. That was incredible. I always rely on Mike for a really good pep talk that's just really in your face. Mike came to our mastermind recently in person, and he gave a real good speech at the end of it. But I loved every second of that. I think the reality is, you're absolutely right when you say like you're not unique in that thought process. And I forget what the quote is, but it's like the graveyard is where dreams go to die, because all of these people had all these things that they wanted to do and invent and all these things they wanted to achieve in their life, and then they just didn't do them because they felt hard or like they couldn't do it or they weren't capable. The reality is you're fully capable, but it is hard to do it alone. And, you know, that's a lot of what we've been talking about today. And so you kind of have two choices. You can sit there and continue to try and do it alone, or you can literally get handed the blueprint to do it the right way. And like I said, there is zero pressure or anything. We've literally set up free course consults for you where there will be no sales on that consult. It's literally just to listen to you and to understand where you're at and how we can best support you. So you can do sign up for one of those. They're 30 minutes at sendinglearnedeasy.com/learn more. I'll put the link again in the chat. If anyone has questions for Mike, feel free to add them right now. But I just wanted to say thank you to you, Mike. Is there anything that you feel like you wanted to say that you didn't get to say?
You know, when I do speeches and stuff, my ending and closing line is always like, if you're not impressive by default, you're unimpressive. And and it's not that you're bad. Like in a restaurant industry, everyone here's gone to a restaurant and it's a check the box restaurant. They're like, I went. Now you want to go back next week? No, we went there. We checked the box. So I don't want people to check the box in their life. Like, well, I did it. I want it to be like, no, I lived it. I want to do more of it. And I think that's what course creation can be. And even your course, when you build it, should be impressive. It shouldn't be what you think it should be. It should be the most amped up version of you. And that's the beauty of it. I don't think people, when they're building them out, should try and fit in as much as stand out. And when you do that, I think it's going to be a lot easier to sell it. I think it's going to be a lot easier to live it if you're not like, I'm selling bridal consultants. And I'm like, if you're, Midwestern, Southern, sassy, like live that with it. Don't try to fit into what's going to be in Bridal Magazine. Like whatever is the thing that you think you should be. If it's not you, don't do it. Do the amped up version of you and be impressive with it. And it's so much easier to do that in a restaurant, in a business, and certainly in a course.
Absolutely. And it's the thing that's allowing you to stand the test of time. There is so much, there's more competition now than ever in anything that you're going to do. That's just the way it is now. There's so much information out there. There's so many creators out there. There's so many people out there who are talking about what you talk about. So the only differentiating factor you have is your unique expertise and how you show up in the world. So use that to your advantage. It is your greatest gift, your greatest advantage, and it's what makes people drawn to you and want to stick with you for the rest of time. We don't just help you build an online course. We're helping you build an online education business that stands the test of time. Mike's in year 1. We have clients who are in year 5 and 6 and are doing multiple millions a year with their businesses using our methodology. So this is not theory. This is proven. Mike is proof of it. I'm so grateful you took the time to talk to us. Really, really appreciate it. I'm so happy for all your success, and I cannot wait to see where you are a year from now. So we might have to do a little update 12 months from now.
I'll be there.
Awesome. Thank you everyone for being here. If you want to sign up for a free course consult with with Steve from our team, go to sendinglearnedeasy.com/learn more. The link is in the comments. Thank you so much, everyone, and we'll see you very soon. Bye.